Has this ever happened to you? I'm sure it has. You were browsing a coloring book and suddenly you saw a page that you felt like you had to color right away, even though you would have never chosen it before. When I was coloring this page in the new coloring book by Hanna Karlzon, I realized why we tend to have so many work in progress pages, and I want to share my thoughts about it with you. Whether we realize it or not, our emotions and thoughts drive how we perceive every single coloring page. When we are browsing a coloring book, sometimes we feel like we don't want to color anything at that moment. Even though we love the book and all the illustrations, none of them feel aligned with our thoughts and feelings in that specific moment. We don't know what to color. We feel lost, guilty, and we just try to force ourselves to pick a page just because we feel we want or need to create something. And when we finally find the page, then we struggle with color palettes and fall again into the same circle of feeling lost, being overwhelmed with all the options, and feeling trapped. Our thoughts start to spiral around doubts, and we slowly lose any motivation to create anything. We often just end up browsing other people's work, which makes us doubt our own skills and creativity even more. But this is not the lack of inspiration, creativity, or lack of skills. It's simply because we haven't found the right page that would be aligned with how we feel at that specific moment. It can be really challenging to break this loop, but it's possible, and I have a trick for that. When I start to spiral, I set a rule that I will choose the first page that catches a tiny little bit of my attention. And when this happens, I immediately stop browsing more pages. Usually, when a page catches your attention, you have a flash of a color in your mind. And that's what I use as my starting point. Even if it's the smallest part of the page that shows a color, I stick to it. Often, it takes just a start, just a few strokes to reveal more colors. But how exactly our emotions and thoughts affect what and how we choose to color? Let's look at it a little bit deeper. When we are happy, we tend to use bright and vibrant colors, and we tend to choose cheerful pictures. How we feel also refines which pages attract our attention. When we feel joyful, energetic, adventurous, we are choosing different pages than when we are feeling sad, drained, in pain, or exhausted. Of course, that all of it, all the emotions, happiness, love, or sadness, can mean 1,000 things for 1,000 people. For example, a flower page or a portrait can be perceived in 1,000 ways, and that's why every single colored version is so unique. But we don't always color or create just when we have positive thoughts. When we feel a lack of love, joy, when we feel unsupported, when we miss something or someone, we tend to project those feelings onto our pages as well, and maybe even more than when we are happy. Especially when we cannot share our thoughts with anyone, when we have no support, or when we simply don't want to talk about it. Then the best way to express what we feel and relieve the pain or exhaustion, even just a little, is to transfer it on the page. Even if you don't fully realize your feelings or thoughts, it's the creative process that can bring it to the surface and reveal what needs to be revealed. In my opinion, creating is a great way to sort inner things, because in art we are free. We can let it out. We don't have to share it with anyone, and that's the freedom. That leads me to the point of why we often have so many work in progress pages. I personally have over 120 unfinished pages. I even made a video about it, so you can check it out if you want. I will put the link into the description box. But only when I was coloring this particular page, I realized why I have so many. When I started this page, I felt a bit uneasy and I was deeply in my thoughts and I needed to sort them out. I started with the background and as I continued, my head felt a little bit lighter. Because I was using watercolors, I left the page to dry naturally overnight and I got back to it the next day. However, the next day, I wasn't feeling the same way anymore. I was more balanced and my thoughts were more clear, and it really changed how I perceived this page. That's when it hit me. This is the reason I have so many work in progress pages. When we get back to our work, even if it's only the next day, we may be in a different state than we have been before, and we just see things differently, from a new angle. This can be good. Sometimes this distance helps us to improve our work and lets us see what we didn't see before. But in other cases, that can be a reason for losing our motivation to continue on the page. We may even dislike what we did, but it doesn't mean that what we created is bad. It served its purpose, and now there is no need for us to continue anymore. Even if we don't realize it, this is the therapeutic side of coloring and creating in general. It doesn't always have to feel relaxing at the moment, but it helps us process our thoughts and feelings. It gives us a moment of peace in our mind and heart and helps us become more balanced. This is the purpose I am giving to this page, to let us free from feeling guilty over pages we don't want to finish. Even if this page is completed, I wish it becomes a reminder that not every page needs to be finished, and that every step we take in the process already has its value. If there is still a bit of doubt in you, if you fear you would be judged for what you create, and if that's what is holding you back from being free in your creations, then my previous video in the Coloring with a Purpose series is the right video for you. I will link it to the description box below, where you will also find a link to special color alongs, guided coloring tutorials, color combos, and full coloring processes of my YouTube videos, which are inside our Fellowship of the Coloring Cats on my Patreon, Neko Simi Coloring. Now, let me know in the comments how many unfinished pages you have, and if you struggle with the same thing. I really hope that this video helps you to see your unfinished pages in a new light.